Let's go now live to Israel, just east of the Gaza border, where we find NBC News foreign correspondent Raf Sanchez. Raf, you toured an Israeli kibbutz yesterday. Share with us, if you would, what you saw.
Willie, that's right. The Israeli military took us to a kibbutz called Kfar Aza. It's about half a mile from the Gaza border. This is a place that was a pleasant rural community, single floor houses, a lot of green space, a lot of room for kids to run around. But the town we toured yesterday was a scene of absolute horror. The Israeli military showed us the hole in the fence cut by the Hamas terrorists, and then we basically followed their path as they went killing and kidnapping through this community. We saw houses that were burned out with people inside. We saw blood all over the walls, all over the floors. You can only imagine what happened in those houses. The residents have been evacuated now, so there was a sort of eerie silence over the place. But on Saturday morning, it would have been filled with gunfire, full of screams. The bodies of some of the Hamas militants were still lying there, rotting in the bright sunlight. And because we were only half a mile from the Gaza border, we could hear active firefights continuing between Israeli ground forces and Hamas militants. Now, the Israeli military says it is now in control of the border fence. It says it has stemmed the flow of Hamas terrorists from Gaza. But I got to tell you, Willie, even late last night, when we were in the city of Ashkelon, significantly further away from the Gaza border, we could hear heavy machine gun fire coming from a helicopter. And we later learned that Hamas militants had actually reached the city of Ashkelon itself. So one of two things must be true. Either there are still terrorists coming out of Gaza, or there are still terrorists who are remaining hidden 5 days on from this surprise attack starting Saturday morning. Either way, residents all across the south of Israel are not sleeping safely in their beds right now. I will tell you, Willie, Israel is a country right now in a state of sort of stunned national unity. It's a feeling that many Americans will remember after 9/11. As you and I have talked about many times over the last couple of months, this has been one of the most divisive years in Israel's history, with this enormous fight over Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to weaken the Israeli Supreme Court. All of those political disputes have been put to the side earlier. I spoke to Yair Lapid, the leader of the Israeli opposition, the former Prime Minister of Israel, a fierce rival of Benjamin Netanyahu, and he told me he is prepared to enter into a national unity government for the good of the country if Prime Minister Netanyahu wants him there. Take a listen to a little bit of our conversation.
This is inspiring. The way people are reaching out to each other. The way, half of the country is now living with the other half because people said, our house is open, come over. We're gonna live through this together. We're gonna make sure everybody understand that all disputes we had, all disagreements we had before doesn't count now because we are brothers and sisters.
Now, Willie, you can hear there the things that mattered a week ago do not matter today. All that matters from the perspective of Yair Lapid and so many Israelis is that this country comes together. It is worth saying he said he would struggle to join a national unity government that includes Benjamin Netanyahu's far-right coalition partners, but talks haven't reached that stage. Willie, I'll just close by saying in Gaza, not far from where we are, the Ministry of Energy has said they have now run out of fuel for the Strip's only power plants. They have shut that plant down now, and it may be very soon that the 2 million residents of Gaza are completely without electricity. This has the potential to be a humanitarian disaster on an absolutely massive scale. Just to give you one example, dialysis machines inside of hospitals may very well shut down if there is not power to keep them going. You may have people dying in their hospital beds because those dialysis machines aren't working. Every indication we have is that Israel is preparing for a large-scale ground offensive, which would mean urban warfare inside of Gaza, one of the most densely populated places on earth. And that has the potential to add to what is just an already truly, truly dire situation inside the Gaza Strip. Willie.
And there are calls, as you know, from international organizations to open a humanitarian corridor, at least into Gaza, for some of that essential equipment and material that you're discussing. Raf, a couple of days ago, we began to hear these reports out of the kibbutzes like the one you visited at Kfar Aza, and the reports seemed too heinous to contemplate, too heinous to be true. It sounds like, with your own eyes, you can confirm that they were.
Willie, it is unlike anything I have ever seen in all the conflicts, all the natural disasters I have covered. To see such horror concentrated in such a small place. As I said, the smell of death was absolutely overwhelming. Kfar Aza is not a big place. It's only 700 residents. Geographically, it's small. But even in the relatively short time that we were there, Israeli forces continued. It felt almost like every minute they were finding new bodies, children among them. It was really, this whole situation has been a nightmare that Israelis just cannot wake up from. There is new and horrific news every single day. You saw, Willie, when President Biden spoke at the White House yesterday, the outrage was clear on his face. It was clear in his voice. He had just got off a long phone call with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and according to a readout from the Israeli side, the Prime Minister really spared no detail. He talked about what he said were women raped in the kibbutzim when these Hamas terrorists came in. He talked about soldiers who were beheaded. He talked about these literally hundreds of young people at that music festival in the south of Israel who were rounded up and slaughtered. And his words were echoing in the ears of President Biden when the president appeared in front of the cameras yesterday to voice his solidarity with Israel and his absolute determination to stand with this country during this crisis. Willie.
NBC News foreign correspondent Raf Sanchez inside Israel near the border with Gaza again this morning. Raf, thank you so much for your reporting. Mika?